Hello, welcome along. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with part 8 of the beautiful little Gannet. So here she is. This is part of my this is my entry for Wendy's group build over on Facebook. There's a link to it down in the description below the video. If you want to go and take a look, it's on till the 31st of December 2024. And this kit, as some of you already know, this kit was actually bought for me by Wendy. So I'm trying to do my best I can and do a really nice job of it, and also for me a major thing, get it finished. So when I left you at the end of part 7, we'd done all the sky and everything and all the pre-shading. So what I've done is got it all masked up. You can see I've got this curve here. This white tape, for those of you who don't know, this is the Tamiya vinyl flexible tape. That's 3mm wide. You can make curves with it. It's great stuff. It doesn't kink up or anything if you don't try and go too tight. I mean, obviously you wouldn't be able to go right around the wing leading edge. It's too tight for it. Perhaps you can warm it up and it will go, I don't know, but I've always found that when you do that, it goes and it lifts. So there we go. And obviously the rest of this is all just Tamiya tape and cheap masking tape and everything. But and also we've had to do these little finlets, and they sort of have a funny shape at the bottom, so I've used Maskall on them. Not Maskall, the Mr. Hobby, and then cut it with a knife on the panel line and taken it away after. So we should get a nice finish on them. We shall see. We'll have to go and do some touch-ups. I'm going to be doing oil washes and streaking and all that sort of stuff anyway, so not really too worried about it. I have made a bit of a fuss about getting this joint here nice, but as you can see, we've got a wing root decal to go in there, a black wing root decal, so probably needing to make that much fuss, but it's done now. And also you can see, this is something I always do. I've used actually black for the pre-shading, and I've come right over the edge, so the pre-shading comes right to the edge so it doesn't run out. So you will have the pre-shading coming up here in the sky, and that will meet this, so they'll kind of blend into each other. And if they don't, we'll just do some post-shading to fill them in. But there we go. So I've also painted the wheels. If you remember, we did the wheels in part 7 as well. We've done that. And I've used the Outlaw orange here. This is the colour they developed for the Airfix lifeboats, of which I've got both now. And it's a lovely paint. It goes on. You can see how fine it goes on, and it's not eradicated any detail whatsoever. But that's a base coat for some red, so that'll be a really good base for the red. These have all been washed off with the model degreaser that Annie got me. So yeah, we're looking good. And obviously these are black, they're primed ready for some silver paint. And then the tyres, they're all primed in the black as well. It's Mr. Surfacer black. And then we'll get some black on there, mask them up and paint. I think the back of these wheels should be silver. I don't think they would have painted the back and the front red. But whatever, adds a bit of colour, doesn't it? The other thing, I've put a little flat spot on the tyres, so we'll have to get the undercarriage on, and then we'll position the wheels in the correct position when we get the blade sat on its feet. It is going to be okay. It's not going to be a tail sitter. I can put my fingers there and you can see it's still, if I put my fingers on the leading edge, it sort of just becomes a tail sitter. You can see that I'm balancing sort of across where that first panel line is, as you can see, and there's 20 grams more weight in here than there should be, so be careful with the weights. The weights they tell you is the minimum. Obviously when we get the prop in, that's going to help a bit. But I don't know if there's more wing behind the wheels than there is above in front. So yeah, I mean, I can put my fingers where the legs are going to be, and it's absolutely fine. You can't push the tail down at all. But I think if I'd have put the minimum weight in the Airfix quote, it may have been a different story. So be careful of that. Oh, I always put a little bit more weight in whatever kit I'm building, whatever manufacturer. So I'm going to now go in with the Outlaw paints, and this is the Dark Sea Grey, RAL 7031. I have a feeling this might be a little light, but I want that because I want it to look sun bleached. And also when we have the black under here, what will happen, it will look like we've got the correct dark grey around all the panels, and the middle of the panels are all bleached. And that's kind of an effect that people like to get. It's not strictly correct or accurate, it's artistic license. So there we go. And the other thing we need to do is make sure we go round with the tool and just make sure all this masking tape sealing in the cockpit is all done, and do that. I'll do that again directly before I spray it, because we will probably start to see already, you can see that starting to lift, where a bit of dust has got behind it or something. So do it like that and then spray it, okay? That way it saves you having to go in and touch your cockpits up and everything. Right, I will be back and I'll get this painted and I'll see you then. Right, so there's all the grey done. And you can see the pre-shading showing through. Once again, the camera's making it more sort of in your face than it really is. And well, we'll use that and work with that with all the oils and stuff, and you'll see with the washes. And a lot of decals are going to cover a lot of it. So I think that grey looks absolutely lovely on there. But yes, I think it should be a bit darker, but I think that is, you know, for scale models and just for general sort of, remember this was a sea-based aircraft, you know, and it would be battered by the salt air and the sun and all that. So I want to go look at quickly now. I'm using this colour call out that I'm not using. This is the one I'm using, and there's the stencils. So I'm using this as like a backing paper. But I want to show you. I mean, I don't know myself yet because I haven't tried it. But I've got in the airbrush here. I've got some XF7 thinned with leveling thinners. So we all know how difficult it is to paint red. So just do a little test on there. And I'm just going to very lightly apply the red. Look at that. Coming from the angle so that we get the features on the wheel. But you can see now we've got that lovely bright red colour, solid. And we haven't had to build up loads of paint to get it. So yeah, really pleased with that. Really rich red colour. Lovely. Right, we'll get the silver done now, but I've got to make some masks for the front wheel first. I've done the LP65 rubber black or XF85, whichever is your favourite. So I'll get the airbrush cleaned out, make up some masks, and we'll go from there. And there we go, guys. All unmasked. As you can see, we've got the pre-shading showing through. So we've got a nice uneven look to it all. And it's all good as well. No touch-ups required on here. I had one bit here on the wing, where on the outside and tray on the wingtip, and the tape lifted. So I'm just going to go over that with a bit of sky. That'll be that done. I was expecting to have more around here, but nothing. It's all looking pretty good. So happy with that. That line up there with that vinyl tape from Tammy is bloody gorgeous. It's really sharp. Look at that. Very nice indeed. So yeah. Right, so next thing to look at are the stripes. We're going to have to put some stripes on this thing. So what I'm looking at now is, first of all, the wings. So the stripes are going to go on this section of the wing. This is the mid section. This is this section here. Okay, so that's going to be on like that, folded up. And we've got the decals on here for this version, XA335, so that's this one. So what I've done is measured up the decals, the size, and then got a piece of masking tape, or a couple of bits of masking tape, cut them to the same size, and I've marked the centres because I've noticed that according to this, I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but according to this, that line there, that panel line, runs right through the centre of the decal, and the 5 you can see almost butts up to that inner edge. So what I'm going to do here is lift this mask off of here. I've also drawn a pencil on it, but I don't know if that's going to be visible. But I've also made a cut at the ends to mark the centres. Come on, come off. Oh, it's all breaking up. Ridiculous. It's because the camera's on. There we go. Right. So this is the day. You can see the pencil line has appeared. So what we're going to do is line up on the longitudinal position. Doesn't really matter. It's this way that matters because we want to make sure that once we've painted the white and black lines that we get the this is going to be awkward. I'm going to have to lob that corner off. There we are. That worked out well, didn't it? So that line, that pencil line, needs to be in line with that panel line to get this correct. So we'll pull the decal down. This is a hell of a lot of fuss doing all this, guys. If you don't want to go to all this fuss, have your wings out and you won't have any problems. This is a lot of fuss. I guess you'd still have to do this if your wings are out, wouldn't you? There we go, so that pencil line is in line with that panel line, and that edge is butted up. As I say, not that the longitudinal really matters. Okay, then we'll do the same on the other one, and then when we look on here we can see we've got about 1 millimetre there, so we'll go, this is about half size here, so if it's 1 millimetre, well no, it's actually about 0.5 millimetre, and let's hit the other side. So what we'll do, we'll go like 1 millimetre, 1.5 millimetres. I've got some micro tape in here. I've got this tape here. I'm not sure what size I'm going to get out, but this stuff here, this is the Aizu. It's 0.7. Brilliant stuff. This is absolutely awesome. Or you can cut your own strips. And what we'll do is we'll put some tape butted up against that, and that will give us our end line for the stripes. Now it's saying on here these stripes are approximately 6.4 millimetres wide. So what I've done now, you know what I'm going to say. I've got here, what I've found is if you use 4 of the 1mm and 2 of the 0.9 on the Infinity cutting mat, it gives you 64, and then when you stack up 5 together it gives you the 32mm they want. So there you go, so 4 in the 1, 2 in the 0.9, cut it down and it'll give you 6.4, so we'll get about down to here. We'll cut them off into sections, put them on the wings, and there we go. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to get the other one done, then I've got a couple of 1 millimetre strips on there, and we'll go from there. Alright, so they're done. So you can see on here on the end we've got the 1 millimetre tape. Okay, so we've put the 18mm down, put the 1 millimetre tape down, and then I've put a piece of 6 millimetre tape over the 1 but left the edge of the 1 exposed, and that'll stop the paint bleeding into there's a gap between the 1 and the 18. So that's that area all sealed up. We've done both of them. When it comes to this one on the side here, we've got about 4 millimetres below that panel line there. You can see it's coming out 4 millimetres below that panel line, and this is just under 10 millimetres wide, this 086 decal. So what I've done is cut a piece of tape 4 millimetres wide. Okay, so that's in there like that. Then we've got the Tamiya tape there, 10 millimetres. So what we'll do is we'll get our tweezers under this one and remove that one. Okay, a little bit of paint came off with that one. Alright, so that's that. So we've now got that piece of tape, 10 millimetres wide, 4 millimetres down from that panel. And as I say, for this doesn't matter the horizontal position. And then what we'll do, we'll take our 1 millimetre tape again, take a piece, cut it off. I like to use tweezers to apply it, it makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. Okay, and then we can apply this tape, butt it up against that one. Right, and then just come to this end, pull it straight. I pulled it a bit too far and ripped it off completely. There we are, that's butted up like that. And then what we'll end up with is, so I'm going to do this again under the magnifier, but that's basically butted up like that. I'll do the same on that side and then put the piece of 6 millimetre over. You can see if I left it like that, you can see that tiny little gap. The paint, when I do the black and white, it would bleed through and we'll end up with black and white dots. So what we'll do there is put a piece of 6 millimetre tape over it, but I won't. I'll actually butt it up nice and properly. And then when it comes to put the decal on, we just put the decal on and get it all square and equispaced up and down, and that'll be it. The other thing I'll probably do, because we've got black stripes under here, under this roundel, what I'll probably do is make a circular mask and just lightly fade in some white over there after we've done the black stripes, just so that we don't see that black coming through the white decal. Cartograph are normally pretty good, but the trouble is, we've only got 2 of those decals. They're 113, aren't they? Yes, we only get 1 chance at it. So there we go. Right, I will get the other side done back in a moment. So you can see what I've done here. We've got the tape. Basically, if you've got one of these Infinity cutting mats, get a piece of 10mm tape, stick the end down underneath that one, do your sample piece and leave it on there. I'm not trying to tell you how to do this, guys. This is how I do it. I'm sure there's a million different ways to do it. This is just how I do it, and then we'll cut the tape off there. Okay, put that back on the dispenser, and then literally go down there and go down there, remove the two bands. Come on, just like so, and then we can get under the corner there, lift that one up, and then where's this one? I've put the one on this one, I've only done one, and then starting underneath, what we'll do is butt that up against the next one, okay, and then come back here, pull it straight, and keep it butted up against that one. Okay, now if you've used Vallejo paint and you haven't used any primer, you probably just pulled all your paint off, so you have been warned. And if you didn't degrease your model, there we go. And you need to keep it as perfect as you can, because every little bit, because you're going to do 5 of these stripes, every time you do one it could end up, and you could end up with like a fan, if you know what I mean. So there we go. So that's how I'm doing it. And what I did here, when I looked at what you do is look at the drawing and just looking at where the edges come and everything. I'm doing it the same as this. I'm not saying it's necessarily accurate. There we go. So now here's one I've done earlier, and you can see we've got the 5 stripes on there, and it is 32mm wide. Okay, 32mm wide. So now what we do is I'm going to use these narrow bits of tape that I've cut off here, because we've got that lump in the way there. So let's start here. Oh, go down. Right. So we'll start here. Come on, untwist, you swine. Don't play up just because you're showing off in front of the camera. And then what we'll do is we'll butt that up against that one. I'll get my tweezers under there and pull that one nice and straight. Okay, and then we'll come over the top, get rid of that piece there, because little stray bits of tape are always a pain in the ass. They get under your tape and they always go glue side to glue side, and they're a nightmare to get off, and then they render the piece of tape that you've just put on useless because you've just pulled it out of shape. This modelling thing's really fun, isn't it? Sometimes it's not. Okay, so I'm putting this up there against that edge, and so all of you are going to tell me, don't worry, they weren't perfect. I've seen one photograph of the Gannet and they were perfect. So all this about putting the paint on with the brooms and all that stuff, I don't take it. I've seen rough ones done with paintbrushes, but I've never seen one done with brooms. So there we go, so there's that one. Okay. You can see we've got a very slight gap there. I should be able to nudge that over. Nope, so what I'm going to do is take it off again. As I say, this will just stack up. You need to get this dead right to start with. Or at least as good as you can. There we go, that's better. And that's one of the beauties of using this thin strip. You can manipulate it a lot easier than if it was a wider strip. So there we go, so that's around there, and then we'll get this one and we'll put this one on the outside, so that one can go around there like that. Just pull it round, get it all unwrinkled, keep it butted up just like that. Pull it around underneath, and that's the biggest problem, is keeping it straight around the trailing edge, because it wants to curl itself around because of the angle there. Look. So just push it over, make sure it stays pushed over. What we need to do is make sure we don't have any. In fact, what I'm going to do is, rather than pull it around the trailing edge, I'm going to fold it over like this. I'll fold it over like that, and then the trailing edge, the trailing edge has no pull on it. Just squeeze the tape together like that. And then pull that around there. Make sure that tape stays on the outside. I need to wash my hands. Look at the oil come off my fingers. There we go. So now we've got those in, we can remove all of these, and what we'll do is we'll place them gently on the cutting mat, or we can actually use them to do this one, and then we can spray everything white. Do the same on the fuselage and go from there, but for now I need to go and wash my hands. So that's what we're doing, and then what we'll do then is we will follow up. I need to make that tape go away from there, don't I? I was just going to pull it off when I pull that tape off. Okay, so that's going like that, and then what we can do is get a piece of 10mm, make sure it's long enough, and we can start here, go around very close to the edge, give that narrow tape all the support you can, very close to the edge of the narrow tape. Okay, and then come up over the top like that. That's going to wrap around the front again. There we go. So that's that wing nearly masked. We've got that bit there to do. Just get another bit of 10mm, see that long. What we can do is put that on there. If we pull it, it will pop over just like you see there. And that can go over there, and that's it. And we can fold that over there, fold that over there. And we'll get a little bit of 10mm. I've got some little bits over here from where I took masking off the fuselage, and we'll just put that there. Okay, and we'll cover this one up as well, because otherwise that's going to get covered in black and white paint, and we don't want that. I also want to get a bit of tape down in there so we don't have to repaint all that silver down there either. Okay, so we can put that on there. Oops. Put that on there, wrap it round, and that's that wing support covered. So I'll do the same on the outside with the 10mm tape, and then I'll take all that tape off. Back in a minute. Right, so as you can see, all the masking is done. I've got a plastic bag wrapped around it here, plastic bag all around the tail. And we've done the stripes and everything as I showed you. I think I showed you, didn't I? And I've gone around with the white tape. I can't remember now, it was so long ago. You can see these three blobs of Mr. Hobby masking there. And what I've done there is where you've got the sharp fold up here, and where you've got it going over these ridges here, I've just put some mask on and let it soak under the tape, and then just sliced it off with a knife when it's dry. And that should help stop paint creeping. If we keep it dry, we shouldn't get any creep, but you never know. And what we'll do is we'll keep painting away from the mask. Okay, so if you paint into the mask, you're pushing paint in there. So I want to try and do this in one without having any issues. But we shall see. That's often impossible. I was just about to do a no-no then. Sometimes I do it and you see me do it and I kick myself. Get a cotton bud and rub the edge of the mask down. The trouble is bits of fluff come out of the cotton bud, and then you end up with a fluffy model. So what I'm going to do is just push this mask down here. We can see it's lifted slightly there. Okay, so we're going to put that down there. Alright. So now it's choosing the colour. Mr. Hobby, Mr. Surfacer White goes down really, really nice. But it can be a little bit bright, if you know what I mean. So what I like to use generally is this one. This is LP35. LP paints are tough as old boots, so LP35 Insignia White. You can see if I put this next to an ordinary white, you can see it's just darker. Okay, so it's much better than trying to go for this brilliant white look. It kind of brings it all down a bit. But for this one, I'm going to use this one, LP39 Racing White, because as you can see, it has more of a sort of brownish tinge to it. And the reason I want to use this is because you guys have been commenting in your droves about the actual colours that were used. and the photograph in the actual Key World Modelling magazine shows the Gannets at Nicosia in 1957, and they're white. Now somebody has told me the other day that they didn't actually have white, so they used like an off-white colour. So I'm going to use this, okay, and that's it, final. Apparently the yellow stripes were used up until, I can't remember where they were, Suez was it? But as soon as they got to Nicosia, they were overpainted with white. So I mean, we could go yellow and then put a thin white over the top. But when you look at the photograph, in fact, I'll grab the photograph now. Where's that magazine? Here it is. Just so you can see, it's a photograph they've used in the build. Where is it? There it is. And this is the, as far as I know, it's the only available photograph. And you can see there, okay, you can see those stripes are clearly white. When you look at this is sky, obviously the picture's quite bright, but there's no way those stripes are yellow. Okay, so you can see the red nose, same as this one. You can see all the decals on the propeller and everything. We've got the red front wheel. Okay, so yeah, let's just bear in mind that they were actually looking like white. All right, so there we go. Right, I'm going to get this painted. What I'm going to do is paint this whole area white. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll get our tape back. We've got our tape here on our Infini cutting mat, and we'll get our tape back, and what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll put all 5 back in again, and then we'll remove the black bits, seal up the edges, and then paint the black. Okay, so I mean, I could go and do the black first because black makes a great primer for white, but I've got a dark grey anyway, and we've got this sky underneath, and I'm not really worried about it looking all, you know, like a model car, you know, with a brilliant white bodywork. It can all be a bit patchy, let's face it, because it's all going to get weather anyway. So I need to find a better stick to hold this on, some less of a taper. No, it just does not want to go on, does it? I don't want it falling off while I'm painting it, because that is a pain. Right, what I might do is actually put some tape around it and tape it on. There's no other way of holding it, actually. I could just hold it like that, couldn't I? Whatever, okay, I'm waffling. I'll see you soon. Okay, so it's next day now. I've been doing some little testing with the paint. I started using this paint. This is the LP39. It's actually like a gloss colour, which means it's going to be nice and tough for masking and stuff. But boy, oh boy, does it not cover. It just seems to go on and then sink in. So I've actually just dusted it over with a very, very light coat of heavily thin Mr. Surfacer white. And now what I've done is gone over with Mr. Surfacer to pre-shade. Because I was thinking actually that when we look at the model, we've got all that pre-shading on the wings, all that pre-shading on the fuselage, and that pre-shade is just going to stop and we'll have a stark white band. So what I thought is I'll do the pre-shading so that it sort of blends in, so it all looks as dirty, like it's all sort of weathered in together. We'll see how it looks. It might look crap. If it does, we'll just remask it and paint it again. But I don't think it will. And then on the black, I think what I'll do is I'll do the black and then I'll post-shade in between the panel lines. We'll see how that comes out. So it's all about having a bit of fun, a bit of experimentation. It's just model making. It's trying something new on every different model you do. Just you know, break things up a bit. So I'm going to get another couple of coats of, well, probably another 37 coats of this on, which will just barely cover this. So you can see how stark that white is compared to the racing white. So that's what I'm after, is that sort of yellowed white from all that sun over in Cyprus. Okay, so I can officially tell you this LP39 is probably the worst covering paint I've ever used. LP34, I think it is. Yeah, this light grey, that is unbelievable, unbelievably bad. But this stuff, oh my god, I've just used 2 cups. I mean, I know it's only a small cup in the airbrush, it's only a little Revolution BR. I've just gone through 2, obviously I don't fill it to the top, I fill it to about 3mm down. 2 of those to cover that grey. So, I mean, and you can still see, the pre-shading coming through, and you can see that it's glossy, but it's just, I've just used 2 of the cuts to just cover that grey, to get the pre-shaded look. So you can see the pre-shaded look on there. Funnily enough now, you see, it's really weird. With the grey and the sky, the camera enhances the pre-shading. With the white, it takes the pre-shading away. You can see it there now, can't you? It's really weird. It's obviously how lenses work and stuff, all that complicated science. But yeah, we've got the fuselage there as well. You can see the pre-shading on there, can't you? Nope. Isn't that weird? So there we go. So obviously if you take photographs of models, it shows you get a different photograph than everybody else. So there we are. So we're going to let that dry for a couple of hours, and then it'll be safe to mask it. As you can see, it's got a kind of gloss finish to it, but the only bit of masking that came loose was that bit there, so I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of a touch up there, but it's no worry, just to mask that. And it's just a bit of sky. I've got to do the end of that wingtip anyway. So we're going to let that go off. I've been holding this front and I shouldn't. I should be holding the wing where it's plastic. And then we'll get the tape around it and do the black. See you in a minute. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the masking done. So we've masked off the white, and then I've covered the edge of the white here so you don't get any bleed through. You'll also see I've gone over with some jet black, LP3, and gone in the panel lines to do some pre-shading. So now what I'm going to do, I've got a nicely thinned mix here of LP65 rubber black. And what I'm going to do is just very lightly paint this on. Check our tape's not lifted anywhere. Just keep it nice and dry, and then you won't get any bleed, even if you have got any little gaps. If you keep it nice and dry like this, you won't get any bleed. Now this area back here is going to be a nightmare. It's going to have to be retouched because it's right on the edge of one of those actuators. You see that we can colour this in, keeping it dry, and we can see the pre-shading. There we go. You can see there, we can just see the pre-shading here. I'll make sure we don't see any white bits. And there we go. You can see that there. So I'm just going to check the edges of the tape. Like I say, this area here is going to be a nightmare. It's going to have to be retouched. Oh, this paint stinks. These Tamiya LP paints, you must wear all your gear. I'm not, because I'm talking to you, but I've got a fan on, it's blowing the paint across out the window. There we go, so that's one wing done. It's a hell of a lot of work this. If you really don't want to do all this, do one of the versions like this one that doesn't have the stripe, because it's a hell of a lot of work. Some really complex little shapes and that to get around. So I'm going to do the rest of this with the extractor on, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. Alright, so as per usual, we'll remove the tape before the paint gets a chance to fully harden, and that reduces the risk of cracking the edge or peeling the edge or whatever. We'll see how successful we've been, how sharp are our nice lines. May as well just keep going that way, hadn't I? Well, that was nice. Nice and sharp. There's a piece of 6mm tape on here, it's got to go. Get off. Now we can take this one off. Not worried about that there because that's taped off. So far so good, it's really nice. Right, I think this one here will be a different story because we've got this mess. We've got this mess down the bottom with the liquid mask on there. Oh no, blimey. What I did was put the liquid mask in place and then sliced it with a knife, and it's come out alright now. Of course, when the aircraft's built, because the wings are folded, this is really prominent because that is right in your face. That's the one area you're going to look at. So really chuffed for that. Very nice indeed. Right, I won't do the other one and bore you with that. We'll have a look at the fuselage. So let's remove this middle one. There we go. A little bit of bleed there, so that's all right. You can touch that in. We've got the 6mm tape here, which was sealing it all in. And then here we've got the again, I'm not worried about all this here because that is going to be coming off. So we've got our piece of 6mm tape here. Where's the end of it? I can't see the end. Is that the end? Yes, it is. There we go. Rip that off. Get that off of there, and then the end of this will be here because they all end up in the same place. Happy with that. We know what the white's going to be like against the grey, that's the thing. But no, happy with that. It's nice, isn't it? Just need to touch up there. So what we'll do is just mask the black and then just a little blast to the white, just to take it in. We've got a little bit there as well. So that's okay. You can see the pre-shading as well on the white now. So just to, something I didn't tell you, when you do the masking, you start like this with everything painted white, and you have the two outers. What I do is get a piece of new tape, okay, and put that down. Okay, so that is butted up to this tape. Then just get a piece of old tape, because this is going to be the black. Butt that one up against there. Okay, wrap it around the wing. Then get another piece of new tape. That's not 6.5mm. Piece of new tape. Butt that up there, like that. And then remove the old tape and swap it around. Because all that is acting as a spacer, so you know where to put the masking for the white. And then once you've done that, put that piece of tape in. Or what you can do is put a piece there, and then put those two pieces in, or just put one piece in and put a piece down the middle. But I'm sure you'll work it out. It's not rocket science. Let's get a bit of tape off the white paint now, just in case it pulls. So there we are. Very happy with that. I'll tell you what, we'll just have a look at this other one too, so you can see how it looks. We'll get this 6mm tape off of it. Let's get all this rubbish out of the way. There we go. And then the sticks just do not want to stay on there. It's really annoying. Okay, we'll do this one first. Get off. We'll do this one first to see how it looks. Where's the end of this one? Oh, it's right up there. I should have cut that off. Let's see, we've got a step there. Look, now I've got to bloody do it all again. What I've been doing is cutting the tape off here and left that piece up there, and it's left a step in it. Idiot. So I'll have to do that again. Unless the rockets, no, the rockets aren't that far out, are they? But down in here we've got a bit of that masking fluid just to take out. But I'm really chuffed how that's come out. Where's my cocktail stick? I'm really chuffed how this has come out, because I can take that off later, can't I? I can't believe I did that. Every other one I've cut them off so that the tapes don't overlap. Because whenever you overlap masking tape, you will generally get a step. You see, it doesn't matter if we've got a step here, because that's on the tape that's going to be removed. So there we go. We've got really nice clean lines, other than that there, which is my bloody mistake. Idiot. So I'm going to have to mask that off, get the black out all over again, just to go, and that'll be it. Oh. Sometimes this hobby gets you down, doesn't it? Right, so I'll get that done, and I'll get this bit of white done. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get it all off and see how it will look. No, I won't, because it'll be much easier to spray that bit of white now without having to worry about everything else. So what I'll do is, in fact, I'm going to let the paint dry for a while, and then we'll do some masking and get it done. And there we go, all touched up. Done that white bit there. Done the black bit on the wing. Where was that? That was here, wasn't it? We've done that. So we're all sorted out, and now it's been sealed with a coat of aqua gloss. This is the Alclad 2 aqua gloss. I was lucky to get some of this before it went. I got a few bottles of it actually, but you can now get it from the A stand from Big Ammo, and apparently, according to Luke, it's exactly the same. I don't know, I haven't tried it. But there we go. So that's aqua gloss. It's basically an acrylic gloss. You don't shake the bottle. If you shake the bottle, it goes matte. But as you can see, it's not like a really, really glossy finish. It's just a sealing coat to put the decals on. So the next thing I want to do now is get this here marked out and probably paint that white circle, because I don't want this black and white here coming through the roundel. But I wanted to seal all this in, you know, because if we just keep adding layer and layer and layer, sooner or later something's going to peel. So you seal it in and it all just sort of pulls in together. So we'll leave that for a few. I've only sprayed that 10 minutes ago and you can see how I can already handle it. But you do need to leave it for a few hours before you actually do any you know, proper handling or deco solutions or anything. Now something I haven't done yet, you can see I haven't painted these ends here. I haven't touched these ends in here. I wanted to get it all sealed in first rather than mess around with masking tape and stuff. So there we go. You can also see on that wing there, we've got a bit of a step. So what we'll do, we'll give that a very gentle sand with like a 5000 stick once it's dry, and that'll help to take that out. This is one of the problems with that white. It's whatever white you use, it always builds up. It's a nightmare. But I guess what I should have done was painted the white first and then masked that and painted the grey. That would have been a lot more sensible. I think I did that on my Spitfire, didn't I? Surprised I didn't think of that. But there we go. Anyway, it is what it is. Not to worry too much, because these wings go like that. So you're not going to really see much in there anyway. So that's okay. But we will actually give it a gentle sand. Just take off that edge where the paint is built up on the tape. It's, yeah, I'm not going to use that. The fault of that is this stuff here, this LP39 Racing White is absolute garbage. It doesn't cover at all. I mean, I had to put, I think you remember I used 2 cupfuls just to bloody cover some grey primer where I appreciated it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, it's really thick. You can feel the edge on it. So hopefully with a few more gloss coats and some weathering and some sanding, we can get rid of that. Anyway, I'm going to call that a day for this one, because I'm at a point now where I have to let it dry. But you can see there, it's all looking lovely. All the stripes are done. I can't believe I didn't think of putting the white down first. I normally do, don't I? That's one of my little things. Never mind. So here we go. You can see how she's looking like a gannet now, isn't she? Oh, the other thing I did, which was unfortunate, when I did this wing tip here, I touched in that bit there, the tape, and when I pulled the tape off, it pulled the masking off of that little light, so I've had to mask that back up again. Notice for the newbies, I've still got the wheel wells masked, I've still got the canopies filled in, I've still got the landing lights masked. Yeah, I haven't taken any masks off. I've still got this light back here masked, because when you start going around with your flat coats and your washes and everything, well, maybe washes would be okay, but when you start putting flat coats on, you don't want to be covering your clear parts, so just leave all your masking on. Same in the wheel bays, we don't want to go getting anything in there, so just leave all that in. And obviously same with the cockpits. So there we go. Right, I will see you soon for part, is it going to be 9? I think this is 8, isn't it? I lose touch. So I'll see you all soon for part 9, but we're nearly there. And as I say, this is part of the Wendy's Memorial Group build over on Facebook. There's a link to it down in the description below the video. Go take a look. There's a few people building some lovely models on there. And when we come back for part 9, I think we're going to be looking at putting some decals on here, maybe doing some sanding, sealing. The other thing I want to do with the decals that I don't use for the other 2 versions, I'm going to do some trials like I did with my Wingnut Wings decals, and see which solutions work best and see which ones don't. I think with these are Airfix Cartograph decals. I think you can use basically anything. The restricting factor is the paint you've got underneath. But anyway, I will see you all soon. Bye. Hold on guys, I'm back. You probably noticed, I didn't notice until I finished making this video. Look in here, you can see I put that tape right across, but I've just noticed, I didn't notice it before, I was so concentrated on doing that roundel, that white stripe there, the split is finished, the black is split, but the white stripe there goes all the way up. So what I've done is masked off that stripe so we can paint that again. The beauty of it is most of it except for this bit here is going to be covered by the roundel, so I'm going to have to improve that masking tip there, I think, or we'll just improve it afterwards with some Sky. But yeah, so now I've got this problem with this bloody white build up again, so I think I'll use Mr. Surfacer white and then just give it a very light touch over with that other rubbish. So so yeah, you can see here the way I've got this mast, got the mast bent over on itself so you get a soft edge so you don't get a hard edge. And then we've got everything else masked off ready to do it, so that's something I need to do. And then I've made, using my circle cutter, I'm going to make a mask once that's done, and that'll go on like that sort of thing, and then we'll spray where the roundels going so we've got white behind the roundel. So yeah, wish me luck. See you back for part 9.